Wash TV, promoting sustainable development.
Your Wednesday evenings are always best spent with me, 𝐒𝐿, your gorgeous host on the Youth Avenue on Wash TV channel. And of course, I do enjoy spending it with you too. Good evening to you all and welcome to tonight's episode. It's on this show that we set to address issues that hinders our growth as youth. You know, it's all about you. And tonight, we are honored to have here with us guests from the 𝐒𝐻𝐻 Metropolitan Assembly. Yes, and we are going to talk about the Twin City in Sustainable Partnership Project here. So, I would like to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to you all for staying with us right from the beginning of the show up until today. And as I said earlier, we are going to look at the government's intervention in tackling the issues of the youth or the challenges of the youth. This program is sponsored by the Center for Volunteerism and Social Transformation. Please, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube page yet, kindly do so at Wash TV channel. And also follow us on all our social media platforms, that is Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok at Wash TV channel. So we have here with us two personnel from the 𝐒𝐻𝐻 Metropolitan Assembly, as I stated earlier. We are going to look at the government's intervention in addressing the challenges of the youth. And tonight we are talking about the Twin Cities in Sustainable Partnership Project. We want to know the kind of opportunities that are in there for the youth. And so tonight, my guest here, he is the governance and social accountability officer in the person of Mr. 𝐟𝐨𝐫 Mahmood, and also the technical advisor, Elizabeth Arthur. You are both welcome to the Youth Avenue.
Thank you.
It's an honor to have you here.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So all we do is we address issues that hinders our development as youth, and we are trying to look at opportunities that are in there for the youth. Now, we started with youth and drugs. We looked at youth and employment. We looked at youth and entrepreneurship and innovation. We also went down into youth in agribusiness. And the very recent one was on youth and migration. And now we are honored to have you here. I believe there is a huge opportunity in this project for we the youth. So 𝐟𝐨𝐫, can you give us an overview of what this whole project is about, and then also how you came about your objectives?
Okay. The Twin Cities Sustainable Partnership Project is a 3-year project being implemented by the 𝐒𝐻𝐻 Metropolitan Assembly and the Municipality of Palermo through a grant support of 3 million euros by the European Union.
Okay.
So just a bit of a background, one would ask, why would a government entity or local government entity want to partner with another city in Italy to look for funding to undertake projects within their various localities?
Yeah.
Just like we are aware, funding for developmental projects to benefit or social good is very difficult to come by. And if you look at the STMA, would not have enough funds to be able to tackle all our developmental needs. That is why we needed to explore other avenues of attracting donor funding to support our budget. And the STMA over the years has had training relationships with the municipality of Palermo.
Okay.
So this project is a project being implemented here in 𝐒𝐻𝐻 in the municipality of Palermo. And the core objective of this project is to advance sustainable urban governance within the two municipalities. And the friendship is encouraging us to also learn from Palermo. How are they taking care of city management? What are the things that we can learn from them? And what can they also learn from us?
Okay.
So this is an integrated program that is tackling or trying to meet Sustainable Development Goal 11, who talks about sustainable cities and communities.
Okay.
So basically, we are trying to enhance urban governance, learning from each other through support from the European Union.
Wow, interesting. So how long, when did you start this project?
We began its implementation in January of 2021.
Okay.
So we are basically 1 year and 5 months into the implementation.
Oh, okay. And so how is it going so far?
Yeah, I think we've made significant progress in terms of implementation and reception that we've had from multiple stakeholders, from civil society, private sector, academia, traditional authority has been very positive.
Okay.
And I'm sure if you look at our core objective to enhance urban governance. And urban governance, you can't talk about it just looking at the assembly or your chief executive and coordinating director.
Yeah.
In the ecosystem, the local government is on one side, private sector, civil society, traditional authority, persons with disabilities or the vulnerable groups, they all make up the fabric of governance at a local level. So we are trying to enhance their capacities and look at the level of reception from the various stakeholders that will build capacity on. From last year to this year, the reception has been very positive. And there are some innovative approaches on how to tackle our existing problems. And some of these innovations are coming from the community members themselves.
Okay.
So you can see that our efforts are trying to change the landscape. It's working. The reception levels are very high. We are having new and innovative solutions to tackle our problems. So as we continue the discussion, I may bring on board one or two innovations that are happening currently within the metropolis.
Okay, thank you very much. Lizzie, so which aspect of this whole project do we put the youth?
Okay, you know that currently the youth is majority of our population.
Yes.
And the youth also have a say when we talk about the governance. In fact, the Twin City Sustainable Partnership for STMA and the City of Palemo, we are tackling 3 objectives out of the 5 objectives of the European Union for the call of proposal. Ours, first of all, we are all supposed to look at multi-level urban governance, strengthening governance. And in terms of strengthening governance, the youth have a say. So in our capacity building and everything, we have to bring the youth on board. E-governance, electronic governance, and the youth are more technologically advanced.
Yes.
So it means it's for them. So that any other issues that they have, their responsiveness for the city to be responsive to their need is through technology. So they are also there. Their voice has been heard in terms of the co-creation of the platform. We have representative of the youth over there. Then we have the second pillar or the second objective, which talks about social inclusiveness. And with that, we have the training of vulnerable groups, unemployed youth, and persons living with disability for urban agriculture. They are also part of the inclusiveness. In fact, one thing unique about the Twin Cities and Sustainable Partnership is that although we are supposed to look at social inclusiveness, it's like, yes, you are supposed to be included in terms of the governance, in terms of your say, in terms of your contribution. But what else? You need some kind of economic empowerment. So we are including you through training in the livelihood aspect. So that when you are empowered, you can take other initiatives. When you are empowered, your voice will be able to be heard. So we have training the youth in urban agriculture. Then also we have the reproductive health and gender sensitive topics. That is community campaigns. We are having the campaigns in the various communities and various schools. We started last year, we are continuing this year. Some of the topics that we are treating is teenage pregnancy, school dropouts. Why? We are looking at the root cause so that we can solve it. Yeah. And also we know that within the city of Secondary Takrady, we have this issue of child prostitution. So it's also an area that we are tackling. With parents, their contribution, and with the children themselves, the youth themselves, their contribution also, as to how we can really discuss a round table in a community. Then we also have the reproductive health. That one will be implemented this year. That one is a reproductive health kiosk. We will construct 2 so that when I have issues in the house, I have challenges in the school, and I cannot talk to anybody, I can move over there and discuss it with a counselor so that I get solution, so that I get, at least I'll be able to voice something. Emotional abuse is something that we are not looking at, but that is the place that when you go, you'll be able to bring out your issues for people to help you to solve it. Then also we looked at urban resilience and climate change. You know, currently we are all in a global world, and climate change is an issue for all of us that we are supposed to tackle. And within that also, we look at the youth. And what we looked at is also kind of employment. Yeah, livelihood. My brother will go into that one that aspect. So we have the skills and entrepreneurial center. Then we also have environmental policy. We need a policy to drive the metropolis, so that when I acquire a land and I want to build, which place is safe for me?
Okay.
Which place is more disaster prone, so that I can prevent that based on my resources. So this is a project that I would say that the youth runs through.
Okay. How many youth are we looking at here?
Okay, well, the urban agriculture, we are looking at 300 persons, let me put it that way.
Only in the agriculture sector?
Yes, within the agriculture. And we are targeting 200 unemployed youth.
Okay.
Yeah, because for the sustainable development goals, we are saying leaving no one behind. So although we are targeting 200 unemployed youth, the 100 is meant for the vulnerable groups and women and other personalities to be also involved. Yeah. Then with the urban resilience, that's the skills and the entrepreneurial sector, we are looking at 150 people to be trained.
Okay. So in all, they all come together for
450.
450 youth. Oh, okay. And what benefits? What are they really? Let me say, which segments of the training is really meant for these people? Will you say that women will do one thing by themselves?
No.
Young people do others,
No. The young people, the women, it cut across.
Okay.
Yes.
So everybody will do anything they want to do within
It's about your choice.
Okay.
Yes, it's about your choice. We have urban agriculture, that is one whole sector. Then we also have the skills, and I just don't want to go deeply into
Okay, what Aziz to take?
but
Okay.
the skills and entrepreneurial.
Yes, okay.
We'll be training people in biodigester.
Okay.
So women, men, whoever that is interested can also go there. Then also we have eco-friendly ovens. Men, women, we are talking about gender inclusiveness.
Okay.
If it's inclusiveness, then it means that everything that we are doing, we should put on the lens of everybody participating.
Yes.
So that equal opportunity for each and every one. But just that in terms of the women, mostly at times we don't like to be involved in this. But this is where we are trying to advocate more, that you have the opportunity, just join. So the eco-friendly oven is also there if you are interested. Then we have the plastic, recycling also as another aspect. Whether you are lady, you are a gentleman, you can also apply so far as you are youth.
Okay. Aziz, what has been the notable achievement so far since you started this project?
Yes, I think on the first leg, that's the urban government, just like I said, there have been series of capacity building efforts, and the contributions of the stakeholders that we identified have been very positive. And look at the reception levels of the youth in trying to get into this training has been very, very positive.
Okay.
In fact, last year, we were looking to train 100 for a start, but the applications that came were more than 200. So we had to do a series of interviews just to whittle it down. But we tried to create opportunities for the target audience, like the unemployed youth, vulnerable women, and disabled, to try to get them to acquire some skills that they can use to as a livelihood support for themselves. So I think the reception levels from all the stakeholders we engaged have been very, very positive.
Okay. And with projects like this, I believe they definitely come with some sort of challenges. Yeah. Can you?
Definitely. Just like I said, initially when we opened opportunities for people to apply for these skills training, particularly on agriculture, we realized that even employed or individuals with government employment were the ones who were showing interest.
Okay.
So we had to do a lot of sensitization using our community information centers, our local radio stations, to try to get the target people to really benefit. And also one thing that also was a bit of a challenge to us was that, the youth, when they are coming to do the training, they're also thinking of how do I use the training after everything. So the issue of giving them the support was meant for this year. So all the trainings that we did last year and the ones we are going to offer this year, there will be a support component to help them to start up.
Okay.
So I think that was a bit of a challenge for us, because this year when we began the advertisement of Put Fund and Apply, I think that they thought that it's going to happen just like it did last year. Although we explained to them that there is a support component to the project, but it's after the entire training that is when the support project will be rolled out. So we were thinking that it's going to be business as usual. where government entity trains us, then that is the end. So that was a bit of a challenge, but we are trying to, through our communication, be able to solve that. So after our communication, our orientation sessions, we realized that the interest is very, very high this year as well.
Okay.
So although it was a challenge, we realized that we are positive to it. So once we begin to engage them properly, once we begin to let them understand what the low-hanging fruits are, the reception is always high.
Okay. Okay. And Lizzie, please, how was the recruitment like? What processes do they need to go through? Or let me say, what if you're still taking people, like what process do we have to go through before you be able to be taken on board as a member?
Okay, we have a form.
Okay.
You know, because it's a EU-sponsored project, you need justification for every process that you undertake. So we have a form that one has to pick. We use our social media platform to advertise. We use the traditional media. Then also we announce through some of us, we posted it on our WhatsApp status. Then the traditional media, the community information center. Then also we wanted the forms to get closer to the people.
Okay.
So within STMA we have 3 sub-metros. We send them to all the 3 sub-metros. That's the Takrady office, Secondary, and Iskado. Whilst the main office too, it was at the client service unit. We also had the forms on our website, but only few were able to go there and download and fill them, submit it. After that, we did screening. Last year, as Aziz said, we did interview because the numbers that we had was more than the numbers that we expected.
Yes.
At the end of the day, we trained more than even the 100 that we wanted to train. At the end of the first year, we trained 173. Wow. 133 for the agronomy and crop production, poultry, cuts, fish rearing, and the rest. So then 40 went through the greenhouse production technology. But with this year, we want to really specialize. Last year, they all went through, apart from the 40 that went through the greenhouse technology system, there are 133. They went through everything.
Okay.
In fact, crop production, catfish, poultry, and jack of all trades. But with this, we learned our lesson from last year. So with this year, we want them to specify in terms of the urban agri. With the skills training, as for that one, we have allocation slot for 50 people for the biodigester. Interestingly, as at now, in fact, as for biodigester, when you come, it's closed. Because we had almost 70 applications. And some of them they choose more than, everyone was supposed to choose one. But some of them were smart, they choose more than one. So with that one, we asked you to select the one that you prefer. Then we have the, recycling, plastic recycling also 50. Then eco-friendly oven also 50. Then with the urban agriculture, 200 for this year. But as I said, we have the crop production aspect, we have the catfish, we have the poultry, we have the rabbits, we have the snail.
Yeah.
So any sector or any area that you are interested in, you have the opportunity to learn.
So you just have to take one.
You just have to pick one. It's an opportunity for everybody.
Yeah.
And we are constrained with resources also. So how do we make use of what we have? Yeah.
Okay. This is the Youth Avenue, and we are looking at the government's intervention in addressing the challenges of the youth. We have here with us representatives from the Twin City in Sustainable Partnership Project. Aziz, looking at the progress so far on this project, is there anything you'd like to say, or let me ask this one first. Are we having similar projects in other regions of the country?
Okay, before I address the question, I just want to talk about the skills training center that we have.
Yes.
If you look at the metropolis, we are coastal districts, and just with most coastal districts, issues of climate change impacts livelihoods of people. We are also confronted with, because Takrady over the last decade has grown tremendously. Yeah. So once there's growth, population increase, there's urban sprawl. Once about urban sprawl happens, what it means is that pollution, if not well considered, can be a huge challenge for the city. So on this project, we are trying to tackle unemployment and also some of the issues around pollution on the project.
Mm-hmm.
That is the third angle of our project, is the urban resilience
Okay.
component. So here we are trying to use appropriate technology to create livelihoods for individuals within the metropolis.
Okay.
So if you look at it, we have, just like my colleague said, we are training people on how to construct household toilets using biodigester technology. So here we are training 50 youths to be able to establish social enterprises in biodigester technology, to take care of issues of open defecation along our coast.
Yeah.
Then we are also going to train 50 youths to establish social enterprises in eco-friendly OVs or the hunter OVs.
Okay.
Because we realize that being a coastal district, fish or artisanal fishing is very high, and fishmongering is also a prevalent activity. But we ask ourselves, where do our mothers who are engaged in fishmongering, where do they get their fuel wood from?
Okay.
We realize that a lot of our mangrove trees are cut down just to make sure that we are able to process our fish.
Yeah.
And we also forget that some of the fish species, they need to move from the salty water into ordinary water to be able to spawn, lay their eggs before their young can migrate into the sea. So once you are cutting away the mangroves, it means that your livelihoods will be impacted.
Yeah.
That is why that intervention is very, very key to us. And if you look along our coast, you realize that there's a lot of pollution, plastic pollution. So how do we create an opportunity for the ordinary persons who are in this community? That is why we brought on board this plastic recycling social enterprises.
Okay.
That is why those interventions are key. And if you look at the European Union, they have local economic development is dear to them. So the European Union project that I know of, who are also looking at issues around local economic development, how to create opportunities for the youth. I think they did one in Bigeni. There's also, I think they are doing some districts in the eastern region are also benefiting from these kind of projects. They call it the green revolution or the circular economy, where they are trying to look at issues around climate change, issues around pollution. How do we create opportunities through that? How do we tackle joblessness and also pollution? So there are a series of interventions that the government is rolling out, either through donor support or through government's full support, to try to roll out such interventions so that they can encourage the youth to go into self-employment.
Okay.
Well, just like we are aware, now we have the phenomenon of unemployed graduates. Now the jobs are limited. So how do you create employment for people, not having to rely on white-collar opportunities? So I think there are a series of these interventions dotted along the country.
Okay.
But this is what SDMA is doing.
Okay. Okay. That's great. So are you partnering with any institution or any organization on this project?
Absolutely. If you look at the European Union, they encourage partnership a lot. So if you look at the other SDG that we are working towards is Goal 17, who talks about partnerships. How do we encourage partnerships, either internally or externally? So internally, we are partnering with civil society organizations. We also partner with Ghana City Business Forum. So here, the Ghanaian businesses are partnering Italian businesses to be able to explore opportunities, market linkages, and how they can build the local economies. So these are the partnerships we are encouraging or we are stimulating through this project.
So looking at this project benefiting the youth, what are we really getting out of it? Is there any form of certificate you get at the end of the course or something that will help you later on? Or what are the advantages that the youth are getting now?
Okay, the youth, the advantage, as for the certification, we are thinking through.
Okay.
You know, it's an informal way of training that we are having, not really a structured training. And most of our youth, we always say unemployment, but I say it's more of underemployment. When you look at them, they have one or two things doing, but it's not what they prefer to do. Yeah. So it's more about giving them that hands-on training so that they can do something. I always say that, yes, although we are training people in crop production and other things, another person has been trained in soap making. Yes. Now we have people who, we know that when it comes to cucumber, it's very good for cosmetic and facial atmosphere. I've been trained in soap making. Okay, now people are growing cucumber. Can I buy from them and process the cucumber just by cutting, drying, grinding it, then just adding it to it? Document your data. Give it to people. The person person can even come and give it to you. Use it. As you use it, you see that a lot of things will be changing. Now you package it and you sell it. Because you have the evidence base, you'll be able to sell it. So I always say that it's not just about being trained in what you've been trained, it's about the added value that you are. So we are trying to change the mindset of the game. At times we think we cannot do a lot, but I always say that we can do a lot. There are a lot of potential in us. Just that if you sit down, you'll sit down. Then there will be nothing coming. But if you tell yourself that I want to explore, I want to achieve something, this is the target, then you'll be able to go higher. So you see that with the catfish, others are doing other things. Some are getting leather out of it to design slippers and other things. Some are using someone asked me that they're training the plastic. Can I use it for other things apart from pavement blogging? I said yes, depending on your creativity. Because the machines will be there. You've been shown. Now you have the output, the paste. Whatever you mold out of it. So you can even create the nursery chairs and tables. We have that one. Secondly, Takrady own produced one. Benches and other things. All from it. Plastic benches. We have it around. So it's like you'll be training it informally, but what value added are you adding on to whatever? And everything is within you. Go into yourself and create. Think of yourself as a great business tycoon, but you have to start it small. So starting it small, by the time you realize, you see that, oh, okay, this training has given me an opportunity. It has opened my eye to other avenues. And it's also not about the training, it's about the network also. When you are within one corner, you think of yourself alone. But as we come together and we share ideas, so the network platforms will be built for people to share ideas. And we are looking at an urban lab. If you talk about urban lab, that is just an environment for the youth to explore their ideas. What will come out of this idea that I feel could be there? Then we have BACs too around the Business Advisory Center for Secondary Takrady. You know, now government is rolling out You Start. Those are, we have the MasterCard Foundation. So ours is to train you. Now you've gotten the training. The financial support is very competitive. Let's say it's very competitive. So it's not anybody that comes to the training that will have access to it. It's people who have shown commitment, seriousness, innovativeness that will get that award, because we want you to, even if 5 people or 5 enterprises built out of this training and they are able to employ about 10 each, we are off to go. You see, so that is the idea. We want people to see themselves as employees rather than employees. So I think this is an avenue for all of them. Of the certification, some of them, yes, we will give the certificate of participation. We will give certificate of participation. But because it's proficiency, hands-on training, it's no more like a structured institutional one. So this is how the training.
All right. And are there going to be mentorships for those that go through the training?
Yes. As Aziz said, we are in partnering with SDGs, Then also we have BAC also available. So there will be mentorship, and we have all the agri, for instance, we have already our agri extension officers who provide the technical support to them. So there are a lot of, and I'll say that for European Union this year they've declared it Youth and Skills Development Year. So I think they are in talks with the government. I don't know how the procedure will be, but anybody that goes through our training, you can think of that innovativeness, and when they open call for proposal, you have to showcase what you'll be able to use the fund for. So there are a lot of opportunities available for our people to even get funding. If they don't even qualify for our funding, there is a lot of opportunity for them to qualify for. It's all about how innovative and how, the value added that you add. And our office is open for any, youth who wants to incubate a business idea into a bigger platform and to seek for financial support. I think we are here to support them, give them the technical assistance in terms of how to write a proposal to attract that funding.
Anything to add to that, Aziz?
Yes, just a bit to add to what he's talking about. Just like she mentioned, the there's support, third-party support that we offer to the trainees.
Okay.
But it's going to be very competitive. So, for instance, your innovativeness is key. You can't just be a participant, sit through the training, and expect that they will give you something when you start up. You have to indicate to us that truly I can use this support to start something. So innovativeness is key. And one thing that we should also note as a youth is that, you know, I'm sure those who watch us this evening will realize that there are some communities where you can find examples of people trying to travel outside the country using irregular routes through the Sahara, through the Mediterranean to get to Europe. Most of them don't make it. That is the sad reality. Most of them don't make it. So the few that make it become an inspiration, but we need to change the trend. When were the days where people would use what we call the stowaway through our harbors and travel?
They're still using it.
Yes. But now the numbers through the Sahara, through Libya to Southern Europe is very high. More than the stories. And the number of fatalities that the immigration people experience, the records that show is terrible.
Wow.
So would you want to be a statistic, or you want to change your reality? You want to change your future? So there's an opportunity for all of you. So we are, maybe you may not, now the platform is eventually getting full, but the center will always be there. Just like my colleague said, it's an urban lab. So any innovative idea that you have, beyond the urban agriculture, beyond the biodigested technology, beyond the plastic recycling, any idea that you have, the center is always there. BAC is always there. Any ideas that you have, they are always available to assist you. I grew up in Takrady, and I can count several examples of people trying to travel outside the country because they think you can't make it in Takrady. It is not true. There are people who have prospered. There are people who have not even gone through formal education. Through skills training, they are able to prosper. I remember during our orientation, we invited beneficiaries of similar opportunities to come and speak to the youth. They came from the Global Communities 𝐴𝐴 program. People are establishing themselves. People are impacting their lives and that of their families. I think one lady came in from Rumed Metal Works. She was one of the 100 most influential people in Africa. Because of the training, because of how she took the training, how innovative she was in trying to set up and also trying to benefit other people. You can see the opportunities all over. It's about mindsets. We need to change our mindsets. We need to take advantage of such opportunities and we need to apply ourselves. Manna won't fall from the heavens. Yes. So there are lots of people, that's what my colleague said, they are underemployed. Some say they are unemployed, but Lizzie is saying they are unemployed. I agree with her largely. Because there are certain things that you can acquire within your environment that you can use to create livelihood for yourself. Don't just sit down, do something.
And is there any specific efforts that we are putting in place to reach out to the vulnerable communities?
Yes, absolutely. If you look at our projects, social inclusion is key. So we purposely target people with disabilities. So for instance, beyond the training, even the household toilets, so just like we're talking about, we're not just going to help you just start. So we'll train you, assist you to register as a legal entity, give you financial support to start. But you're also offering your first contract. So for instance, persons with disability, if they are interested in biodigested technology, we are going to build 500 biodigested technologies. So those who venture into biodigested technology will have their first contract 500 household toilets. That will be shared among the poor within our coastal communities. So there lies the opportunity for you. Beyond the training, you're also going to make money for yourselves in there. Same thing with the eco-friendly OVs. We are going to construct 100 eco-friendly OVs to share among poor fishmongers on our coast. So if you are a beneficiary, so what we've done is that we are targeting these vulnerable groups. So people living with disability, people living with HIV and AIDS, youth from underprivileged backgrounds. We are creating these opportunities for you to come and make something good for the
so we're about to end it off for today. So I'd like to take the final words from Lizzie first. Lizzie, what do you have to say to any youth out there or anybody who wants to take part in this initiative?
I would say that we are change agents ourselves. You don't need to always look at either the government your family, your friends, and other things. You don't need to look at. Just look within yourself. What can I do? How can I change the narrative? Those that have been selected to partake in this training, as you are coming, just ask yourself from the training, what's next? What do I want to do? How do I want to transform SDMA? What input can I make to change the narrative of SDMA youth development? And I think there are a lot of things that you can do. So as you are watching us, all that I'm saying is we have Youth Avenue, and this is the opportunity to learn something. Today we've given free consultancy as to what you can do. So I think that we are using, majority of the youth have, smartphone.
Yeah.
Use it wisely to develop yourself.
Okay.
This is what I would say.
All right.
Thank you.
Aziz, before your last words, let me ask this first. So after this project, okay, what's next?
Yeah. If you look at the trainings that we are offering as part of the project, we have constructed a great demonstration center. So we have a demonstration farm where, just like Lizzie said, we have catfish, we have rabbitry, snail farming, vegetable farming. The centers will continue to exist, to continue to offer training to the youth who are interested. The skills training center or the urban lab will also continue to exist to offer that kind of training for you. So here we are, the SDMA is trying to also establish some kind of partnerships with the civil society, private sector, and the BAC. We try to continue to offer these training, these opportunities for the youth.
Okay.
So if the project ends in its third year or in 2023, 2024, does not mean that opportunities are gone. The opportunities will continue to exist.
Okay.
But it all has to start with the mindset. We need to change our mindsets. Let's think of us becoming employers rather than employees. Let's think of, scan your environment. There are various opportunities available. Don't just sit there. Do something. Do something. Don't be someone who is looking for money to flow from the skies.
Okay.
Be someone who is looking for opportunities. Be someone who is willing to take opportunities seriously and is able to explore it to better his or her life.
Okay. And to the other regions there, do you have anything to say? Like the other coastal regions, any advantage they can take from this project?
Well, I think all the coastal districts or coastal regions that we have, they're examples of your sister district doing wonderful things in trying to create opportunities for the youth. SDMA is doing its bit. I'm aware Adenta Municipal Assembly in the Greater Accra region also doing something similar.
Okay.
So there are a series of examples the districts or the regions can learn from each other. Organizations, civil society organizations are doing their bits. So there are examples for all of us to learn from. I'm sure when we began project implementation, one district that we learned from a lot was Adenta Municipal Assembly. Okay. Adenta is in its third EU-funded project, trying to create opportunities through agriculture, through waste recycling, to create opportunities for the youth. So there are examples that we can learn from. And they are, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. If STMA has an urban lab that is training youth in plastic recycling, there are 6 coastal districts within the Western region. They can learn from that. Okay. And every district has a local economic development plan. So what are you using the plans for? Look at these opportunities. There are opportunities in agriculture, there are opportunities in skills development. So they can learn from STMA, they can learn from Adenta, they can learn from other initiatives that have been implemented by civil society or government entities. Okay. So the opportunities are always available for them to learn.
Okay, so that was the Governance and Social Accountability Officer of the Twin Cities in Sustainable Partnership Project, Aziz Mahmood, and the Technical Advisor, Elizabeth Arthur. Thank you so much for coming through and for educating us on this project. Thank you so much. And now to you out there, there's a lot, start something, make up your mind. And just start something. There are opportunities out there for us. We have to stop saying there are no jobs there. We can create jobs for ourselves. This is the Youth Avenue, where we seek to address issues that hinders our growth as youth. And as we address it, you make sure you learn something from it so that you can better yourself. My name is 𝐒𝐿𝐴, your gorgeous host. And I would like to say thank you so much for staying with us. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube page yet, kindly do so at Watch TV channel. And we are sponsored by the Center for Volunteerism and Social Transformation. Thank you so much for staying with us. Until next week, goodbye.
Wash TV, promoting sustainable development.